Welcome to the Soul Monk Show, episode 24. It's hard to make myself do these. I don't like talking about myself. I don't like talking about my process that much. Because I do it all the time. So it's like the proof is in the work. I materialize my process. That's why there's so much shit. It helps me deal with my neuroses. Constantly working with my hands. Or maybe that is the neuroses. I don't know. Either way, it's very hard to relax or to talk about myself. I always feel like, there's something could be done right now. What am I doing? You're wasting time, Charles. And it's like, well, what's the point of being my own boss if I can never really enjoy myself or my meat suit? I'm afraid capitalism's eating my brain. But I don't know how to be a human. Or maybe it's an excuse to mask my confusion. It's hard to tell. Everything's a little predatory. So you have this like constant hypervigilance to try to protect yourself. Makes you uncertain. What's what? Who's who? Right now I'm working on a painting. I'll usually do about 15 and then like go back and start editing them and kind of like adding more layers. Right now I have a bunch of portraits that I need to finish up and post and maybe sell. I haven't sold a painting in about a month and a half. I usually get burnt out after Christmas. It's prime painting commission time. Trying to tell myself not to worry as much as I have been. Worrying doesn't help anything. And most of the time it's pretty irrational. It's like, what is it going to change? You're aware of it, you made note of it, it's time to move on. But the brain does what it wants, and we just kind of have to catch up, make sense of it. It does seem strange that we only get one ride in this meat suit, and we spend most of our time trying to figure out how to operate it and how to, optimize it. If we get one ride, there should be some instructions or something. Which I know we got a little bit of that genetic mess that kind of tells us how to do this or that, but it'd be cool if we had some kind of metaphysical constitution. How to operate without driving yourself mad. Like I feel really guilty that I get to paint all the time. That's what I spend my time doing, is painting most of the time. A little bit of illustration, a little bit of animation, a little bit of music, but most of the time painting. People seem to respond to, like, I guess, the tactile nature of painting. seeing the color spread across the canvas, especially the time lapses. You get to see exactly how my brain works as I'm adding layers. I try not to think much when I'm doing painting time lapses. Hasn't steered me wrong much. My success rate for portraits is pretty high. Every now and then I'll fuck one up, but it'll still look interesting. It just won't look like the celebrity. I've dropped out of cable news altogether. I don't even watch clips anymore. I think it's really tough because they're on a dying format, cable programming. And they're trying to make money and they're trying to get views. So they just kind of serve up what they think their audience wants. And it's never really good for us. And if you read or if you follow journalists or you know anything about the subjects they're talking about, you know they're always lying. It's gotten to the point where the general public knows that they're lying. It's like, it's hard to watch this shit. Which, I mean, when you make news for profit, this is what happens. When people make money off of telling you what you need to know and what you don't need to know, you're going to end up being manipulated. It's pretty simple. They're going to tell you what you want to hear, or they're going to try to scare the shit out of you. Fear works really well to control people. Because even if it seems like they're being unruly, I mean, you're still manipulating their feelings. They're still reacting to the information that you've given them. More importantly, they're still being obedient to the vertical relationship to capital. As long as people think it's some kind of cultural issue and that it's their neighbor that's the real problem, no one ever changes the structure or extraction. That's the whole point of culture wars and identity politics. You give people like an impossible task. How do you solve racism? Well, you can't even begin to solve racism until everybody's economically mobile and equal. And most of labor has no protections, so there's no economic security for people and there's no mobility. And consumption being the only modality of freedom in the Western culture, then no one's really free. You can rule your life with a cloud of debt, but you're just pretending. If anything bad happens in the predatory labor markets, you're cooked. That's why bankruptcy is so high. Overdraft fees, all this stuff. They know people are in a bad spot, and they keep making more money because people are in a bad spot. So why are they going to let people get out of a bad spot? Labor's cheaper when people are in a bad spot. Nobody can educate themselves. Nobody can, move up. All you can do is keep working. Work. Work 50 years of your life to own nothing and die of preventable diseases because our healthcare system is also built for extraction. So the TV is not really cable programming in general is not really a great place. And it's weird to think about when I was a kid watching adverts all the time, like being exposed and manipulated to that shit. Baby bottle pop, baby bottle pop. I remember all these jingles and stupid fucking candies. A lot more than the stuff I learned in school. I'm working on a Willie Nelson portrait right now. I don't know why, but I tend to draw celebrity portraits like very sad. It's probably my id working out, but it's funny. That's usually the first comment someone makes is like, yeah, they look very sad. I'm like, well, life's tough out here. It's only going in one direction. Reminds me of a realization I always have when I'm tripping really hard. I'll never see the back of my neck. If I ever start thinking about that, then I start freaking out. I'll never see the back of my neck. Which is very true. Probably never will see the back of my neck. I think the reason that I don't have to trip as much now that I've gotten older is that death is on my mind more now. My meat suit. Very aware of it because of my heart condition. Sometimes my heart will just start flipping and flopping. So I don't need any kind of mushroom trip or anything to realize that life is complex and precious and I should enjoy every second of it. And that talking to God is free. It exists in this meat suit. How I explain myself to myself and the universe that I am compositing every second of the day. It's like I no longer need it. It is no longer necessary to have illuminating thoughts. Death is so close. Brings a lot of clarity. I hope you have a good day, a good week, a good month, a good year. I appreciate you listening.